Hello there, guys. It is the R&C Leather Lounge. I am Richard. We've got rain up above us, so if you do hear a funny noise, it is the rain coming down, and we're going to flood again in our factory. There you go. So yeah, whole city council.
And I'm Carolyn.
There you go. So without further ado, let's talk about texture changes. So
Explain.
I think we get this quite a fair bit, with the consumer and as well as a technician. Will it change the texture of the leather when I'm doing my repair? When I'm actually scrubbing away at the leather surface with a red Scotch pad, will it change the texture of the leather? Can I use a sander? Can I use a DA sander on the surface? Or just a square one or whatever? No. They are too aggressive. They can't get into the grain, whereas the red Scotch pads can actually get into the grain, guys. It's difficult to say whether you're going to change the texture or not.
You can.
You can change it if you over prep. So
Yeah.
you've got to be very, very careful about over prepping. You are going to have to, like with our other one about educating the client, you are going to have to educate the client that it is going to look and feel slightly different. Because obviously you've done a repair. Now that word is very, very important, is repair. It is not a replacement, you've done a repair. So it's very important you've done a repair, guys. You need to make sure that that word is used all the time in your marketing and in your messages to your clients that you have done a repair. So texture changes. They can happen, especially if you're putting the grain back on. You will get a texture change because you'll never be able to get the grain identical because grain on a genuine item is a bit like a fingerprint. They are identical. Each finger is different. Each person is different. So they are going to be very, very, it's not going to be very, very different. You are going to get the grain as close as you can get it, but it is going to feel different and it is going to look slightly different.
I think any time you're using fillers,
yes,
it's going to change that. That's the most common one where the texture is going to definitely
especially if you're overfilling.
Yeah, even on your very small things, it'll be either smooth or you can run needles or pins or something through to create a little bit of texture.
There's videos we've got showing you to do that. So if you look at my hand, you can see there, if I can get there, just there, look, you can see this line running through. You can see that line?
I'm trying to see.
See the line? That is what you're going to get when you start filling. That is an operation. So I use that as my thing. When customers say to me, what is a tear going to look like? What is a scratch going to look like? It is going to look like that line right there,
It's a bit extreme
guys.
to have that done just to demo what it's going to look like.
I know. And I just have to have that done as well just to demo my logo. So there you go. No, texture changes can happen, so the customer needs to be aware of it. It is going to be something that you can't avoid. Obviously, if you're just doing the clean and the protect, then that's fine. If there is no damage on the surface, then obviously you're going to paint. You're not really going to change the texture. You might change the depth of the grain, which could give the impersonation that you changed the texture, but you haven't actually changed the texture. So again, it's about making sure the client understands, making sure you understand what is actually happening as well. Again, guys, if you really do have any questions, these videos are ideal. These are our small, short, snippet things. These are genuine questions we get asked by technicians. When people are looking at taking up courses or buying a franchise, they always say to us, will it change the texture of the leather? It's very, very difficult. You've got to think about it, especially if there is a hole. And if there was a hole in me and you had to do plastic surgery, is it going to look the same?
Not quite.
No, it's not going to look the same. And you're never going to make it look as beautiful as what this is. So it's, it's very, very difficult. You just got to bear that in mind. So it's texture changes. You're going to find a lot of my competitors that will say to you, it will not change the texture. The one thing we do not do, we do not give bull to our clients. Excuse the pun, and we are not going to lie because it will happen. Texture change can and will happen depending on what you're doing with the repair, guys. So there you go. This is just an honest approach that we like to give from a company. We have always been that way. We are a family business with an honest, straightforward, straight talking approach with what we do, with no fluff, no jargon, no crap. It's very, very simple. Just go hell for leather, guys, and repair leather. Very, very simply.
That was a short one, wasn't it?
It was.
There's not really much else you can say.
There isn't much else you can do because we can just keep waffling about, texture change is possible, so just bear that in mind. So there you go, guys. I am Richard, leatherly yours.
I am Caroline.
and we are the R&C Leather Lounge. See you in the next short one. See you soon.